Is that how you pronounce that game? Because I never knew.
I think it's Tierkreis is how I want to say it, but I don't know.
Oh, see, I always thought it was Tierkreis. Well, now I don't know.
There's a commercial that they used to run.
Really? And that's how they pronounce it? I had no idea.
Yeah, I just had this thought, like, you know how some games, like, they have, like, the title screen, like, it's like there's like a chorus of like everyone saying the name, like this game needs that. Suikoden Tierkreis.
Yeah, if you're gonna name your game like this, like you need that little like chorus of like anime characters shouting the name.
Reminds me of like that Square Enix fighter that was Yearguys.
Oh yeah, that was back when they had weird names for their fighting games, not normal things like Dissidia. Hello, and welcome to episode 107 of Rhythm Encounter, the RPG fan music podcast. I'm your host, Mike Salbato, and I have three other panelists with me today for a topic that we will talk about in a minute. So let's awkwardly pause and then quickly introduce everyone. So with me today, we have Audra.
Hello.
Along with Gio.
Hey.
Well, you've been on a lot of these, Gio, ever since last fall, and I'm very excited about that. So welcome back.
It's like, I'm just around all the time. I'm going to be around and a lot more.
Good. I love it.
Yeah.
And joining us for only the second time so far, we also have Tin today. So it's great to have you back.
Hi. I'm glad to be back.
Well, today we are talking about springtime music in RPGs. Not necessarily spring in the game, but, you know, it's songs that like make us think of springtime. And as I learned before this recording, some of us have some very interesting takes on what spring is or isn't. So I think that'll be fun. I'm sure we'll get to that on a few of these tracks. But, you know, in the past, we've done some other seasonal ones. We've done summer RPG music and winter. But we've never done spring, and we've never done fall that I can think of. As of this recording, like it's just switched over to spring here in, you know, some parts of the world. So it seemed like a good time to do this.
I don't know what fall music sounds like.
I think that's why we haven't done it yet, because summer gives you like, you know, beach music and watery themes, and like there's a lot of those in RPGs, or like stuff that's or maybe even desert themes. And winter music a lot of times has like a sparse feel or a cold feeling depending on the instruments used. So I think that's the thing. Like summer and winter, I think are easier to talk about and like think about in terms of music in games. Spring and autumn are a little trickier.
Yeah, 100%.
But I think we all got some interesting ones on here today. So I'm glad we're doing this. So usually at the beginning of a show, I like to talk about, you know, if it's a game, like why do people like this game, or what brought you on to this or this particular style. I'm not sure how to ask the question of what's your experience with the springtime, but I guess that's what I'm asking. Like what did draw you to this episode and like think, oh, I want to talk about this music in games that represent spring?
For me, I love the idea of spring. Listeners, I've never really actually experienced spring because I'm from a country that only has like two seasons. Like it's either hot or dry. So, or it's either dry or wet. So yeah, I just like the idea of life, of things coming back to life after being buried under snow and stuff. It gives me such a warm feeling. I love it. I love that. I love playing games that have like a springtime vibe. So yeah, that's why I signed up for this.
Yes. Spring is probably my favorite season, just for the similar reasoning. I like the whole idea of the rebirth and things coming back after harsh winters, and it's very peaceful. There's something like energetic about it, but like calming at the same time.
Yeah.
As for me, as for someone who also never experienced spring and decided to join here, it's probably because I've played way too many farm sim kind of games, and that's like my only experience with spring. And it will always give that feeling of starting anew again, and like here's to like a fresh new year, and it's like a great chance of doing things again in a better way. So I like that feeling, that feeling of spring in general.
I like that. Yeah. I mean, I really didn't think about that. Like, I don't know. You know, believe it or not, I don't go through when people sign up for an episode like this and think, oh, I should look up the weather where everyone is from and like the climate and the environment. Like, you know, what are their seasons like? It didn't occur to me. What kind of seasons you guys have and what you're used to. So it's very interesting to me that you both wanted to come on here based on your experience with virtual springs. I think that's pretty cool. Like me, I'll talk about this a little bit, but since it's the crux of my notes on one of these songs, I don't want to go too far into it. Otherwise, I'll get to my song and have nothing to say. But for the most part, like me, like spring is a little bit new to me because where I lived in Southern California until a few years ago. And there are parts of California that have multiple seasons, maybe not all four, but Southern California, like where I lived, it definitely did not. You know, I would say that we had summer and then the rest of the year was a slightly less humid, less hot summer. I mean, I had multiple times where Christmas was, you know, 80 plus degrees. So it's like the idea of winter like just didn't exist to me back then. And like spring was fine. Like I guess it had the right weather and the vibe and all that, but things didn't like die off and grow back like I get where I live now. So I have a very different view and appreciation of springtime out here now. So not the same as you guys, but like I understand where you're coming from.
Do you prefer it in where you live now compared to Southern California?
100%. I would never go back. I mean, I'm not. No disrespect to anyone who likes it out there. It just like I lived many decades out there, and I had enough. It's fine. I'm not a fan of hot climates, so why I stayed there as long as I did, I don't know. So out here, like it can get every once in a while, it can get warm in the summertime and all that, but like it's okay because we have these other seasons that I didn't have before. You know, the idea that there's still like some snow outside right now, like I had seen snow like 4 times in my life until I came out here. So, you know, it's pretty interesting.
Wonderful.
Well, maybe you guys need to come out here at some point, whether in spring or autumn or something to see some seasons that you have not seen.
Oh man, we'd love to.
Yeah. Come out here and meet the bunny. and me, I guess, but I figured that she's more of a draw.
Oh yeah, the bunny for sure.
Yeah. All right. So we are going to talk about some spring music. Actually, Gio, you have our first track today because, well, when someone brings on an opening theme, I don't always think it has to go first, but I think this one really worked great as a first song. So that's where we're starting.
Yeah. I'm bringing the opening theme of Dawn of Mana from Dawn of Mana, and it's by Ryuichi Sakamoto, the esteemed composer. So I hope everyone enjoys.
Yeah, I know I did. And then, Tin, your first song is after that. What do you have?
Mine is called Rainbow Butterfly Woods from Dark Cloud 2, and it's by Tomohito Nishiura. And yeah, that's what I have. Just next to Geo's, which actually sounds kind of connected in a way.
Yeah, I thought so too. Like your guys' songs, like these 2 songs and the 2 later in the episode, I think work really well together. So I'm happy about that. So, all right, let's go listen to the opening theme of Dawn of Mana and Rainbow Butterfly Woods from Dark Cloud 2.
Okay, so yeah, Dawn of Mana is actually a game that I have not played, but I have listened to this soundtrack innumerable times. And actually, this song, Dawn of by Ryuichi Sakamoto, is like the one song that you can't just buy. Like, it's also, you won't find it on Spotify, you won't find it on Apple Music or anywhere. It's YouTube exclusive because I guess for some reason Ryuichi Sakamoto is holding on to the rights to the song or something. And
Probably, yeah.
yeah, but it's lovely. It's very typical of his work. I think like a lot of his music sounds like this, or at least his more subdued piano music, from what I've heard. And for me, it's just the ultimate spring song. Like, it just evokes like a montage of like a snow, of like ice thawing and trees like starting to bloom again. It's like, for me, it's like it evokes like lush greenery, and you're watching like insects pollinate flowers, and rabbits and deer running around. And yeah, it's one of my favorite songs to actually like study to or like work to. And yeah, I figured like it's the ultimate expression of spring as far as I'm concerned. And I mean, the Mana series is like has always been this very spring themed series. I know there's a one section in Secret of Mana where you go through all 4 seasons in like one area, which is cool, but like it's really mostly like about spring.
Yeah. You know, it's funny, like before you picked the song or before I saw you pick the song, that area in Secret of Mana was what I was thinking of when I think of spring. But you're right. Like the series in general is always about, it always has, you know, really strong emphasis on themes like renewal and bringing things back to life. So yeah, we could really have done a springtime episode just on that series.
Yeah.
But I love this one. Like I haven't played this one either because, well, everyone I know tells me to stay away from it in terms of gameplay. You know, Hillary loves this series in general. Like Legend of Mana, I think, is her favorite, and then Secret and Trials. Like she likes all of them, but like this one, I don't know. I'm afraid to ask her. Like I feel like the game wronged her in some way, but she has very strong opinions about it. And like a lot of people I know that played it are like, yeah, don't bother with that one. So I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know if it's just like maybe the gameplay is kind of not really there, but the music is fantastic. I am a little sad that you can't get this one because I was looking, like Gio said, like I wanted to get the soundtrack or grab this song off of iTunes earlier today, and it's like no, like they specifically say like this album has all but one track. So it has to be some licensing thing, you know. There are some composers out there like Mitsuda and Yuzo Koshiro, like they own the rights to maybe all or at least most of their tracks. So back in October, we did a Castlevania episode, and Yuzo Koshiro did some songs on Portrait of Ruin, I think. One of the portable Castlevanias, and you can't get those songs anymore. Like digital, like all of his songs are the ones that are not available on the soundtrack. Presumably because Konami didn't want to pay for them. I don't know. So it's a weird thing when you have that now, when you can't get certain songs, and it's really a shame because this one is just gorgeous. You know, it's not what I expected. Once I listened to it more and hear you talk about it, like I understand why you chose it. But at first I was surprised. It starts out almost somber, like or at least introspective. It's very slow it builds up very slowly.
Yeah, I kind of described it as like thoughtful repose almost.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as far as I know, it doesn't really sound like the rest of the soundtrack. Like it's exclusively for like a CG cutscene at the start of the game. So, but the rest of the soundtrack's actually quite excellent, by the way. It's like Kenshi Ito being amazing.
And also there's a few tracks on there by Masayoshi Soken, which I need to check out because I'm so used to him on Final Fantasy XIV, and I actually haven't gone back and listened to a whole lot of his stuff before that. But he was composing for other games like this one back then.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Just a couple, but yeah. Actually, hang on. I still have it open in iTunes, so I can actually tell you right now, because I know it's very important right now to know exactly how many songs he did. But it is 2.
Oh,
Oh.
2.
There are 2 songs that he did on this. One is called March, 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 and one is called Rush, Rush, Rush.
There's a theme.
They sound exactly the same.
Uh-huh.
Title
Oh,
wise.
no. Hang on. Actually, there's a bunch of little jingles and stuff at the end that he also did. So there's a few more.
Oh, this must have been early in his career then.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
I mean, this was what, 2007? Anyway, that's just a random aside, not really about the song, but I don't know if we still have it. I think at some point we were talking about doing an episode one day. No, we did do an episode. Never mind. Where the people who like the music more than the game. And I think this is probably another good game for that.
Yeah.
But this one didn't come on there. I think this is actually the first time we've had this game on Rhythm Encounter at all. So I'm happy you brought it.
Lovely.
Did anyone else have any thoughts, or do we want to let Tin talk about her Dark Cloud one?
Well, actually, one of my notes that I jot down was that it gave me the imagery of flowers just starting to bloom. So I kind of really agree with Gio's thoughts on this song in general. Yeah, has that spring feel.
Yeah, sure does.
Yeah, I haven't played the game as well, but I only played Legend of Mana, and it's similar to what you said, Mike, that this is one of those games in the Mana series that it's okay to skip or something. So, but they never fail every time delivering really good music. So I also adored this when Gio shared it. So it's like giving me the feeling that maybe I should give the game a try.
Yeah.
Well, if you do, let us know, because I'm curious. I don't know if it's one of those games that didn't resonate well with people, but maybe now there's a following. I don't know. Like everyone, I keep seeing people here and there talking about wanting a remake of Legend of Dragoon. Like there was the Future Game Show a few days ago, and one of the people in chat was like, I want a Legend of Dragoon remake, which I don't know if it's going to happen at this show, person, but it's just a weird thing to me, because I don't recall anyone when that game came out who really liked it. At least not enough to want a remake. So it's interesting, things like Legend of Dragoon and even Final Fantasy VIII to an extent. A lot of fans were like, I'm not sure about this, but you fast forward to now, and it's people wanted that remaster of 8, and they really want Legend of Dragoon remastered now. So, in 10 years, are people going to want this game remastered? No. But maybe.
Possibly.
I mean, if they could fix whatever the issues are, then maybe.
Someone at Square really loves Mana. They keep putting out Mana games. So
I mean, I'm happy about that. The series is it vanishes for years, sometimes years at a time, and then comes back. And it's interesting that even though in the West we know this one is Dawn of Mana, in Japan it was actually a numbered sequel. It came after what we know as Trials now, and it was the last numbered one. There was never a 5. I'm not sure if that means anything. I'm not sure if there was meant to be a difference between the numbered ones and then Legend of Mana, or if they just decided, well, we don't need to number them anymore. So I'm not sure why that is, but I thought that was interesting. Speaking of numbered games that need a new entry in the series, Dark Cloud 2.
I brought Rainbow Butterfly Woods. This song is actually just keeps repeating. The tune is it's forever on loop if you listen to it. But it's not that kind of song that gets annoying listening to over and over again. In fact, it's the opposite. It's so soothing and it's so calming. I guess that's how I envision what spring is like, since having no experience of spring in season. But in Dark Cloud 2, this was one of those memorable dungeons for me personally, because it had this just like its title, it had this it was a home to a big rainbow butterfly, and like that butterfly, like just I guess uh, it's just like butterflies, like when they grow and like coming out from the cocoon. So it's like a rebirth again and like a new beginning as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it just happened to match that theme, I guess. And like apart from it being so calming to listen to, so yeah. In a way, also the song also makes me like, apart from giving off that feeling of calm, it also kind of sounds a bit melancholy, I'd say, because it's, or maybe I'm just getting a bit emotional remembering my childhood playing this. So yeah. So yeah, for me, this is like a really, really good song to listen to whenever you're studying or when you want that sense of peace, I guess, because that's what I feel whenever I'm listening to this song.
I'm not surprised by the somber theme. Like, I mean, it does sound a lot like the song I brought. And yeah, I this is a dungeon, if I understand.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Actually, sounds too calming for a song in a dungeon.
That's one of the things I like about the game, that like the dungeons don't all fit. The first one is a sewer. You're like, okay, this is what a dungeon's like. But no, they have some great variety in the feel of each dungeon, so they all feel very different.
Yeah, they make it work. Like, even if like the song and the setting seem so different, it just works.
So have you not played it, Gio?
Oh, I have not. Yeah.
I've been
Tin keeps telling
him
me
to play it.
Yeah.
It's the one. So far on my PS4, I have purchased a single PS2 game when they put it on there, and this is the one.
In the store.
Yeah, it's so good.
How dare you not buy Okage Shadow King? How dare you?
Okay, all right, fine. That'll be my second one. Unless you're kidding.
I'm kidding. I mean, I do want to play it, but it doesn't get enough respect, I think.
Probably not. That one I have not played. It looks really cute. I just never got around to it.
Yeah, it's very cute.
I really like Dark Cloud. I'm sure I've talked about it before, but I do. Since I don't call myself a photographer, but an amateur photographer at least. I enjoy taking photos, and any game that has a cool photo mode or feature, I'm a fan of. But this one, like, it's a core gameplay thing. Like, it's how you come up with inventions, and it's one of like many things about the game, like the weapon upgrade systems and the way you can play two different characters and the different environments. Like, there's the town building. I mean, like, everything about this game like just really, really worked for me, and I really wish they would do another one. But I only played the game once outside of my second playthrough that I started on PS4, but and I played it whenever it came out. So a long time ago, I played this one. So I don't know a lot of the music by heart, but it's one of those games where when I hear the song again, I'm like, oh yes, I remember this. And I remember the different areas and the scenes they were in. So it's been like a nostalgic thing for me listening to it again. And I didn't get this. I guess I'd have to listen to it again. Like, I didn't get a lot of somber, but I definitely get like maybe more mellow or peaceful. Like, it's it's really like a laid back thing. And like the idea of like strolling through the woods with this song is just a nice. Well, I mean, outside of the fact that in the game the woods are full of monsters and the rainbow butterfly is like this giant thing that attacks you at the end. But until that point, you're like, oh, it sounds really, really pretty.
Yeah. I actually described it as elegant when I was writing my notes.
Yeah,
there's like an elegant tone to it, and a kind of a sense of renewal and hidden life, maybe, which maybe makes sense with a forest full of monsters.
Yeah. Also golf. There's also golf.
I actually also brought this, or talked about this game as well in Retro Encounter. Yeah, previously. I
remember.
And one of those things I guess I could remember is the reason why, like, before joining RPG fan, I was really happy to know that a lot of the members in the site are like huge fan of this of the game. So I was like, when I would search things about Dark Cloud or whatever, or there's like among all of the pages that I've liked in social media, it's like RPG fan would always remember Dark Cloud during, I don't know, anniversary or something.
Aw.
So yeah, so it would remind me those times.
Nice.
Those posts by Steph really help. Like
Mhm.
they seem to really make people happy. Like
Oh,
their
yeah.
birthdays, yeah.
I mean, I think the whole team does those, though.
Oh yeah, the whole
Yeah.
team. Of course.
I mean, Steph does a lot of work, but yeah, I know a lot of the team does the anniversaries, and I'm happy about that. Like some of them, like really, really, really take off. Just certain games, you're like, oh wow, like I didn't know that one specifically like triggered all this nostalgia, but it's neat to see. Maybe the level 5 is. This sounds really flippant, but making games again. Maybe they'll get back to this one. Like the stuff they've shown this year is like really exciting. It's been a long time since I saw something out of them that was like interesting looking. So I'm happy. I hope they're getting back on track with their RPGs.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
I'd probably faint or flip if they announce anything about anything Dark Cloud related.
Not yet. That's what I'm going to tell myself.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right. Let's move on to what turned out to be a collection of Plains music. I didn't really think about it when I picked my song because Audra you had your song picked first, and I picked mine, and then only today when I was doing notes, I was like, oh wait, these go together. So my first song today is "Gazing Over the Great Plain" from Octopath Traveler. So a game that's just completely full of great music. So
Oh yeah.
yeah. I haven't even really listened to the soundtrack for 2 yet, but we'll get to that later. So yes, after that, Audra, what is your first song today?
My first song is The Plane in the Sky from Suikoden Tierkreis.
Nice. All right, so let's go listen to "Gazing Over the Great Plain" and "The Plane and the Sky." Okay. Speaking of planes, I wrote my notes speaking of planes because I was going to put this one second. All right. Well, I'm going first, I guess. But yeah, I promise I did not pick this one because of the title connection to your song, Audra, but well, that's how it worked out. I really love the wind instruments in this one, and like the overall feel is like kind of this mellow feel that just gives me this impression of like this casual stroll in the springtime. And I talked about this a little bit in the intro, but where I am now, like I live in Massachusetts now, so that's East Coast US. And right now, like today, the trees are still a bunch of sticks. Like we have no leaves. There's one tree out there that has some brown leaves on it, and that's it. But around this time, like probably in the next couple of weeks, we're going to start seeing the green and everything come back to life and all that. And, like we talked about a little bit with some other songs, like that's what I think of now. Now, what I think of for spring. And I didn't have that. I didn't have that concept 4 years ago, or before 4 years ago, rather, because I lived in Southern California. We didn't have that. A lot of the trees out there, you have palm trees and other things that they always have their leaves. They're green, maybe brown, but like they don't always fall off, and like fall is just a different thing. So like the leaves stay there, and you come springtime, it's like, okay, well, like there's some more green, like the grass will come back. The grass is green instead of brown, but it's so different. It's so different out here. So like until 2019, I didn't have that. I didn't have that. Like I knew about it. You see it in games or movies or whatever. Like I know it existed, but I'd never seen it myself. Like that transition from winter to spring where things come back to life. And it's just so interesting. Like 4 years in, and like it's still like just this novel thing to me. And a song like this where it's just, that's what this song makes me think of, like blooming flowers and like that really bright, like yellowish green when the leaves start growing back on all the trees out here. And I don't know, it just takes me to like a happy place, So that's really what made me think of this one and why I brought her on here.
Definitely a very gentle quality to it, like a peaceful one that kind of, it does really remind you of like rebirth in a way. I think it's very fitting for spring.
I'm noticing like there's like this a lot of the songs that we're covering today like have like very similar instrumentation. Like there really are some instruments that kind of evoke spring in a way. Like the strings, like I'm not sure, like violins, and like it's similar to Rainbow Butterfly Woods, like I don't know, like it's like the musical language of spring.
Yeah,
kind of.
No, I noticed that too. Actually, a lot of these tracks I was trying to look up on VGMDB, like they list a lot of like liner notes, and when it's available, when people know, they list instruments sometimes. So I was actually trying to figure out that on several tracks. Like, okay, I know there's a string instrument and a wind instrument. Like, is it a flute? Is it a violin? Like, I was trying to look that up for a lot of these. So I think you're onto something there.
Yeah, it's a great song, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It did, like, listening to it is like, you can never go wrong with Octopath soundtrack. So this is a really good pick. And it, similar to what I presented earlier, it's like, this one is also giving me that relaxation theme. So like how you mentioned casually strolling outside and the wind is really good, and it's like a really good day. So yeah, that's what I guess felt while listening to this song. And I'm imagining it's like a really how do you say it? A really like I'm walking through a pathway of flowers or something, and there are like few animals as well. So yeah, that's how I was imagining it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad that worked for you. Like, even if you're not used to like doing that in your actual life. So, all right, good. That's what I was going for. All right. You want to talk about your planes, Audra?
Oh, sure. Well, I'm not sure how to pronounce the title now, but I've always been a fan of Suikoden Tierkreis' overall soundtrack. I found it had some surprisingly good songs to it, and when the spring theme came up for this podcast, I automatically thought of The Plane in the Sky from it, because it to me brings up a picture of someone, of like the winds blowing through an open plain, which I guess fits for the song title. And there's like an energetic yet mellow quality to it, and a rejuvenating sense that I get from this song that it really just reminds me of like a breezy spring day in a lot of ways. And so I wanted to share it here.
Yeah, I can see the similarity, like, and just the way all of these songs seem to just evoke this feeling of I don't know, like I feel compelled to, like, start anew. Like we're just going, keep saying the same things over and over. It's just, yeah. I just feel that way with these songs. Like, I don't know, it might be the instrumentation or the melodies or something, but something about them.
I like how our song picks consecutively, they all sound like in same, like they all give the same feeling, and then later on listeners would be surprised the next few songs are quite different from these. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, by the end of the episode we're gonna have a very different definition of spring.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this one has more like I could definitely hear the tunes of strings in this track, and also a lot of flute. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's some really nice instrumentation.
Yeah. The flute, and it has a nice like adventuring feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, it's interesting. Like Gio said before, like I always think it's interesting when we get used to like certain feels or sounds and how we associate them, like in games. But I mean, for us, especially in RPGs, like we associate certain sounds and instruments with different environments or locations. We're like, oh, well, that's a winter instrument or something like that. So I like how we started this episode off. We're like, oh, what's a spring sound? But I think we're narrowing it down with some of the instruments and the sounds today are kind of giving us like, oh, maybe this is what defines spring in an RPG.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I was thinking too, like because of the sounds and the feel to it and the instruments used, like I got this idea of like this being used like in a like a big open plain or something. And that's before I actually read the full title of the song. So I guess there's something to that.
You can see someone walking through or wandering through somewhere, like a giant plane just going on their journey.
Exactly.
Kind of get that sense. Yep.
That was a great choice. All right. So our next block is actually somewhat related to Audra's song here. What's your next song, Gio?
Yeah, I'm bringing another Suikoden song. It's A Moment of Calm from Suikoden 5. And yeah, it's very much in the same vein as what we've been listening to.
And then Tin, your second song today is one I'm very excited and familiar with.
I'm bringing the word spring, Wild Horseradish Jam. It's from Stardew Valley by ConcernedApe, and as a person who played so much Stardew Valley, it's like the first song I thought of before joining this channel.
It was one of mine too, but then you took it first, so that's okay. All right, let's go listen to A Moment of Calm and then Spring Wild Horseradish Jam.
yeah. So a moment of calm is like, well, it's kind of like one of those songs that are like self-explanatory, because like once you listen to it, you kind of know exactly what. Yeah, it's just as described. Basically, it's a song that's meant to evoke peace, and for some reason it always makes me think of like one of my favorite TV channels is, I don't know if you guys get it in the States, it's called NHK World. It's like Japanese PBS, and like they a lot of the time they're just showing off like montages of like Japanese landscapes and stuff, and like this is the kind of music that they play.
Oh, that sounds nice, actually.
Yeah. And this is like, yeah, one of those, like it would fit perfectly in like one of those little interstitials they do, and it's this is actually one of my favorite Suikoden songs in general too, because like I just love the melody of this one. Like it's so it's kind of it's sad in a way. It's like similar to Dawn of Mana, the opening theme. Like it plays early on in the game, and it's meant to be hopeful, but to me it kind of sounds a bit somber as well, like a bit introspective, and I quite like it for that. Like I use it for listening to music. I listen to it while I work. So
okay, I was going to ask what you meant.
Yeah, sorry.
This is the music for when I listen to music. I'm like, that is fascinating, and I want to know more about your methods.
I got tongue-tied there, but yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, this song is just like perfectly titled, huh?
Yeah.
It's some parts of it are like almost atmospheric. Like we like sleep music and spa music and stuff like that when we go to sleep, and like some of this, like I could see being on one of those playlists on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever. Not the whole song, but the background of the song, like it carries through the whole song, kind of has that feel. It's very even, and it almost feels like something you could listen to like if you're meditating, but then the flute or whatever the wind instrument is really, it's so soothing,
Oh yeah.
So you get that, and then whatever the string, again, I'm not sure what the string instrument is. I tried to find out, but like it has this like plucky feel, but it doesn't really take you out of the moment, which I think is really important. Well, it's important for that kind of thing, for like a meditative or like a sleep song or something like that. I'm not sure how it's used in the game, but I think it works though, because you have these different instruments, but it doesn't lose like the feel and the vibe of the song. Like it doesn't go like, oh wow, well that's like jarring or whatever. So
yeah.
It just stays calm all throughout, even when these other instruments come and go. So it's very, very nice.
I know this is Suikoden 5, but it almost reminded me of like sun shining gently through like forest leaves in a music form. That's actually how I described it. Like there's just this very peaceful, and it's ironic because it's Suikoden 5 and that's the sun rune. But that was kind of my sense from it. Like there's a warmth to it, a peacefulness, warmth that it's very nice.
For our listeners, definitely not me, who has of course played this game. Why is that ironic? Does the sun not exist in Suikoden 5, or what's the deal?
Oh no, it's the sun rune is the true rune that's very important in the game.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually had an idea when Mike mentioned it, that you listen to some spa music. I mean, if I had run a spa, I'd own a spa, I'd play all RPG music in the background.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
That would be awesome.
This is like the song that I'd pick playing in the lobby. Like in the reception or something.
That's perfect.
Yeah. That's how I imagine it while listening to it. But as soon as you mention the word spa.
Sorry, I'd work with you to build that spa.
An RPG spa.
Yeah. I mean, I would visit.
Me too. That sounds awesome.
It's been too long since we've been to one. We went to one out here last year, and it's so nice. Like, I don't know why we've not gone back. It's very relaxing. But yeah, that would be such a cool concept.
I know. I just realized I had never encountered or heard anything like that as well. So, listeners, if you guys have some business ideas and this is a good idea.
I like it.
One last thing. Actually, there's like another version of this song that's it's like on an arrange album. There's like 2 Suikoden arrange albums out there, I think, and like the first one has this song on it, and it's like a vocal version, and it's also very evokes the same feeling. It's quite unique sounding. I'd recommend it. I forget the name of the album exactly. Yeah, I'll probably just link it in the show notes or something. But
Yeah,
you should
that'd be good.
definitely check it out. Yeah.
All right, cool. Okay, can we talk about one of my all-time favorite games now?
Yeah.
If we have to. No. Sorry.
Okay. If we have to.
Yeah.
I'm joking. Sorry.
I know you are. It's okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely back you up on that. Like, I'm bringing Spring Wild Horseradish Jam, and what can I say about this song? It's odd that this is like a first song that I thought of instantly when picking out song choices, but then at the same time, it's also the song that I don't have much words about it, but like just here it is. Go and listen to it. And like it's pretty straightforward, and this is also like, if I'm not wrong, this is also like when you start the game, when you boot the game, right, and the screen, this is also the song that plays, right? If I'm not wrong.
Well, there's an intro song too.
Yeah, but I remember like also or maybe there's like parts of it that's also like played.
That might be it.
In the title screen, yeah. So
This is actually really embarrassing. How many hours do you have on the game? Because I know I have like 300 plus, and we're like, I don't know where this plays. I think it's here.
I have like 200 plus. But
Yeah.
I've been playing it also like offline before, so I don't know anymore. and the amount of times I started playing, like starting a new game, playing this like different locations, like different types of farms, so I don't remember anymore how many hours really exactly, but yeah, one thing's for sure, I've had like more than 200 hours playing this game. And I just really like how this song like starts out like very gentle, and it's very calming, and then it goes up to that part where it gives you that kind of energy, like because it gets that it gives off that feeling that you're ready to tackle on the day, and you're just, I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm just really imagining planting all the turnips that I have to make, and so that I can maximize the money I'm gonna get in spring after losing so much money in winter.
Right.
So so like spring is like the best season for me, and in this game, because finally I'm about to make some money again. So
Right. No, I mean, I totally understand what you're saying, so don't worry about it. Like I said earlier, like if you hadn't brought a Stardew song on, like I would have. I'm not sure which one. I don't know if it would have been this, because each season has 3 songs.
Yeah.
And even with how much I played the game, if you asked me to like rank any of them, like any of the 3 songs for each season, I would have a very difficult time doing that. And not only ranking them, but like naming them, because I know them, I'm familiar with them, I hear them all the time, but I don't stop and think like, oh, which one is this named? I'm just like, oh yeah, it's that one. I like that one, because I like all the music in Stardew. But like the way I feel about Stardew and how relaxing it is, that the game or the music very much depends on which farm I'm playing on. So if I'm playing on my original farm, my main farm with like however many hours, I think I'm in year 6 now, You know,
Oh, damn.
yeah. That farm is all about making money with wine and beer and animals and truffles. And I'm actually at the point where like my farm that has no crops on it now.
Because you're very rich now.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Only in a game, definitely not in real life. But like, you know, there's the island. You know, now there's the island farm you can have. So like, I have crops there, but my main farm, like, I just got rid of all my crops. So like, I have fish ponds and animals and kegs.
Yeah.
And it's at the point where like I have things that are automated. So like every day is just like hustling. Like okay, how much money can I make today? Can I break 250,000 gold? Which I think I've done once. So like I don't know. It's weirdly relaxing because it's like this weird hustle. Like how much time can I spend here? Yeah. So it's like, and this song, like, it's interesting to me. Like this one works because I have all these things to do. I'm like, okay, run up here and do this. Go and take care of your animals. Like, I wouldn't do this like in real life because like we have a bunny and I love her and I want to spend time with her. But I will admit, for a video game, when they implemented the thing where you can hold down the A button and just run past your animals and pet them without having to stop, it was very efficient. So when you're doing all that, like having this song, it's like it has like this nice energy to it, and it works. It works for that because I'm like, run here and do this, and run and do this, and do this, and like, oh, my diamonds are ready. I gotta go and get those, and so like this busy workday thing works with this kind of song. But on my other farms, like my smaller ones, where I'm not this, wine mogul, you know, it still has that energy, but I find that it still translates to like a slower pace where I'm not like chugging like 4 or 5 triple espressos to get around faster. Can you imagine that in real life, by the way, just drinking triple shots like every 4 hours? So it's like, but this song I think still works on those other ones because it's more relaxed, but it has an energy, but I don't know, like for some reason for me it translates well. It like scales down to like a slower paced energetic feel too. So I don't know, I hadn't really thought about it as much until today doing these notes, but I like that. I respect it on more levels now.
Yeah, there's like a gentle bounciness to it that's very fitting.
Yeah, it's very like all this talk about business, like it's like it makes capitalism very appealing to do.
Have you played the game?
Oh yeah, I played it with Tin.
Okay, good. All right.
And we've been working at a farm together, right, Tin? Like,
yeah.
I love how they do co-op in this game. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It does. Like, now that you mention it, like among all of the seasons or like among all of the songs, is a song that gives us the feeling of I need to hustle. Or like I need to make the most out of the time in a day that I can do, So yeah.
Yeah. It's fun.
At the same manner, like even it has a hustle theme. It's also calm. So it's alternate, but it works.
That's one thing. Like when they added co-op, it gave me a different appreciation for the game because I had put in a lot of hours on my own farm, and then I think Hillary had played some, but not as much as when we did a co-op farm. And I was like, okay, look, I get used to playing like at a certain pace. So like starting over was like, oh wait, I gotta slow down. Like this, I don't have to do everything today. I don't have to run until 2 a.m. And especially like I don't want to do that with someone who like is still getting used to the game. Like I don't want to be like, okay, look, I know you just started, but like this is the way to play. Like I never want to be that kind of player. So I was like, okay, like I'm gonna scale it back a little bit.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I'm scaling back a bit and playing with someone else.
All right, I'm gonna have to go play after this. Thanks. I started. I don't know the last time we had Stardew on the podcast, so maybe this is repeating, or maybe I'm just repeating the Retro Encounter Farm episode, but sometime last year I finally got into the extended. There's a mod on the PC for like an extended one, like a fan made mod that like adds areas around the farm and the town, adds like, I don't know, 5 or 6 like new NPCs, like with their own dialogue and friendship levels, and like it's a lot. Like it expands the forest. There's like a winery, and
interesting.
It's surprisingly well done. Like it doesn't even feel like, oh well, like that was drawn by someone else. Like the art style like really blends in. But yeah, it's interesting. It's a lot, you know. Like, oh well, now I have all these other people to like make friends with, and I got used to like what everyone likes as gifts. I don't know what these people want, but it's a cool mod. So if you play on PC, I'd check it out.
I'll look into that since I first played the game on PC as well.
All right. Well, if we're all ready, unless someone had anything else, because I think we're all tired of hearing me talk about Stardew, we can go on to our last odd little block here. This whole thing, like I put together this playlist. I'm like, okay, cool. The plain songs go together. That's great. I listen to Geo and Tin songs. I'm like, okay, those two go together. The last two don't really go together, but they were the two that were left. So
they were the spares. No.
They were the spares, and I think they're two very different takes than everything else in the episode on spring, but I'm happy they're here. So what is your other song, Audra?
My other song is Have You Ever Seen Me, which is an arranged song by Yuichiro Goto, which is based on Tozas, the Dwarves village from Final Fantasy III, which was composed by Nobuo Uematsu. And it's from the Final Fantasy Level Grow vocal collection.
Yeah, man, that's an album, all right. That was one of the earliest like arrangement albums I'd ever heard, and it's very interesting.
Yeah.
So all right, and then my second song today is "Breeze with You." That's a capital letter U, by Barry Topping from Paradise Killer. So let's go check out "Have You Ever Seen Me" and "Breeze with the letter U."
just kind of love how fun and energetic Have You Ever Seen Me is. It's really cute, and it brings up to mind to me like a fairy forest almost. Where it's just happy people singing about just having fun and without having much care in the world, and there's playfulness and cheer, and it just has a sense of vibrant renewal, and I don't know, it always just kind of, I guess it puts a spring to my step when I think about it.
Oh,
So that's why I picked it.
I like that. I wrote more about this song than anything else on today's episode, so I'm going to go last. If Gio or Tin, if you want to go next.
Yeah, for me, I couldn't help but think of that Tiny Tim song. In the song, it sounds very similar. I forget the name of it, but it's stuck in my head now. And like, yeah, this song is like very much in the same vein. It's a lot of fun. I love this song a lot.
Actually, this is the first time when Audra picked her song choices as well. This is the first time I've heard of this, and I didn't imagine that it's from Final Fantasy. You know, like it seems very unique from the genre, but it's also probably why because I have played most of the old Final Fantasy, so maybe I'm not so familiar with it. But yeah, this is like a fresh new take for me. The first time I listened to it, and it kind of reminds me watching Disney movies as well. Like it's something I'd hear over in those kind of movies. So yeah, it's kind of surprising to me.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting album that it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really the kind of arrangement album they have done since.
Yeah,
I mean, not that I've heard every Final Fantasy arrangement album, but it's definitely a unique thing. This one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, where do I start with this one? So there's no denying like the upbeat sound of this one. And I listened to the Pixel Remaster version of this and like the NES version of this song. So like the melody is there. Like that melody is the same melody as this. Because I had to go back. I'm like, how does this, is this really like, because I don't know Final Fantasy 3 that well. But yeah, I mean, it's there. It's like the Gnome Village. So it has been so long since I listened to this album in like any capacity. So I was really surprised to see this come up. And it's so weird. I don't mean that in a bad way. It's like it's just weird, and like we said, like it sort of stands alone as far as I know among like Final Fantasy vocal songs like this song, but also the album. Just vocal songs and vocal arrangements they've done over the years. There's really nothing else like this. And anyone listening, like correct me if I'm wrong, but and like for me, like I can't hear this and not think of old cartoons.
Yeah.
Yes, I can see that.
And I don't mean like 80s, because of course it's 2023. So now, of course 80s, the stuff that I watched as a kid are very old and ancient things now. But I mean like cartoons from like the 30s and 40s. It's like we're talking stuff that's like 70 years old now. And Gio, this is why I was so happy you like happened to mention Deer earlier. So if you're wondering where this was going, this is where it's going. But like the vocalists, like the background or the accompanying vocalists really sound like they're straight out of like something like an old show tune or a Betty Boop cartoon. And I'm not old enough to like have watched Betty Boop cartoons when I was a kid. Like that's even before my time. But like, I've seen it. Like it's that like Cuphead, that animation style from that time period. And like I can't listen to this and not think of stuff like that. And specifically for me, like this is where the Deer come in. The main vocalist and like the bouncy way this song plays out. To me, one of the first things I think of is like a more upbeat version of a song from Bambi. If you've ever seen Bambi, and know the song Little April Shower, I don't know, it has this weird like poppy like upbeat sound to it. This one is more This is a little more energetic than that, because that one's about springtime and like, you know, Bambi seeing rain for the first time, and you see like the little animals running around the forest, and just beautiful animation, like better than you would probably expect, like going back and seeing something from 1942. So, and like, again, like none of this, like I don't make any of these comparisons in a negative way. I just think it's very interesting because I had heard this before but never really thought about it, and you know, I heard it decades ago. So thinking about it now, like someone that they would take this song from Final Fantasy III and arrange it and add these vocals and add lyrics to a song that didn't have them before. It's clever and it's cute. It's still weird. I still think it's weird, but I appreciate it.
It's weird in a good way.
It is. And never thought that I'd be like comparing something from a Final Fantasy game to one of my favorite songs from Bambi, but you know, there it is. So like, I was going through because I was the last one to pick songs for this episode. So I was going through like, oh, let's see what everyone else picked. And I admit, when I clicked on this one, my first thought was like, wow, Audra did what? I'm like, what am I going to say about this? Like, I forgot this one even existed. So, but like, I went through it and I'm thinking about this and how it made me think of these things, and just the really interesting way people arranged it and how it made me think of stuff I haven't thought about in years. So like, my reaction went from, wow, why this, to, well, it's given me a lot to think about, and I appreciate the song in a different way now. So I'm glad you brought it. It's just been, been a really interesting experience for me. And if anyone else at all has any idea of anything about Bambi or those things, hopefully you understand where I'm coming from, and I don't just sound like a crazy old man here. But yeah, that's where I went with it, was Bambi.
Yeah, I heard the song Little April Shower just now, and like it is very, very similar. So I definitely see where you're coming from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whew.
I should probably listen to the version without the vocals.
Yeah.
And see the difference.
I would check out both. Like the Pixel remaster and the NES one are very different, like instrumentation wise. So I would listen to them both.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, but no, I mean, it's cool. Like, it's, aside from this song, just the fact that you like brought something from this album is great, because I don't think a lot of people listening maybe even know about the album, because this is an arranged album from 1995. So that's quite a while ago.
Yeah, this is probably one of my favorite tracks from it. I've heard all of them, but I like this one the most. It's cute.
It is. It really is. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't have a good segue for that to Paradise Killer, because my song is not really cute. As much as I do want to play Paradise Killer. Like, I think I forget about it, and then every time I hear music again, I'm like, oh, why I should play this. But so it's kind of an accident that I stumbled across this, because I adore Paradise Killer soundtrack, but a lot of it's like electronic and really upbeat, and there's a sound to it that I would never associate with spring from like most of the songs. But I was just looking through my songs, and I'm like, you know what? I wanted something that had a bit of an energy to it. I just wasn't sure if it would be on here. But then I found this one. Like, it's one of the few songs on there that it doesn't have that level of energy that a lot of the other songs do. And I just like it. I don't know if anyone else sees it as a spring song, but I just thought that it has that electronic feel and some energy, but it's a little more scaled back. It still has like a chill sound to it. And for some reason, it has this like springtime vibe. At least that's what I got out of it. So even though it wasn't the sound I was looking for, but I decided that it worked.
I think it has a kind of breezy spring vibe to it in a way, so I could see it working.
Yeah,
it's very nice.
Actually, if I'd imagine it like this would fit, like this would play out during spring if the setting is like in a cyberpunk city or something.
Okay.
Kind of like like a modern setting. Yeah, I'd imagine like this would be like the songs playing on the background during spring. I mean, similar to you, Mike, I also haven't played Paradise Killer, but when I just stumbled upon this soundtrack, I just loved it. And I also have that nudge that whenever I listen to it, I'm like, I should play it. but yeah, I just never got the time as well. But
Right.
this game really has a killer soundtrack. So
I know. I mean, like this and like another sort of similar vibe is Haven. Like Haven soundtrack and this one are just some of my favorite soundtracks in the last several years.
Was this up in that episode where you guys talked about that the game had a better soundtrack than playing it?
I don't think so. I mean, I've heard the game is pretty good, so.
I see.
Haven, I don't know. I mean, Haven, I think it depends on who you ask. I know Alana reviewed it for us, and she mostly liked it, but not as much as she was hoping to. But I've heard other people like it more. Although maybe it's been updated since then, too.
I see.
All right. Well, I'm glad it mostly worked.
I think it fits.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is the end of our very first springtime episode. That was a lot of fun. We got a nice mix of things there, like what spring means to everyone. And I like, too, that half our panel today hasn't really experienced spring, so it's been interesting. And it works. Like, I like your it's like, it's not like you don't know what spring is. It's just you haven't like experienced it firsthand. So, but I like it. I liked really getting everyone's perspective and the different takes, because I didn't know that was the case coming into this episode. So I'm really glad that this panel, had the people on it that it did. So thank you.
Wonderful.
I think the reason why we joined in this theme is because we badly want to experience spring. We're jealous of countries with spring.
All right. Well, again, you are welcome to visit.
Yeah. One day.
Yes.
Tin and I.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So let's do our fun house cleaning stuff at the end here. So at the end of our episodes, I like to talk about games that made their debut on Rhythm Encounter. And we had several this time. Sometimes we don't have any, but we had several this time. So, we keep a list of everything that's ever appeared on Rhythm Encounter. And today was the first time we'd ever had Paradise Killer, either of these Suikoden games. There's actually not much Suikoden representation on the show at all, which is surprising. Or Donna Mana. So all of those were first-time games on the show.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. So coming next... Boy, I feel like I've been talking about the Sakamoto episode for so long. We keep adding other episodes in front of it. But the next episode finally is going to be an episode on Hitoshi Sakamoto's music. So we're going to have some Breath of Fire, some Final Fantasy XII, and some other stuff in there. I'm very excited about that one. That's something we've been meaning to do for quite a while. As far as like major composers, that's a big one. So looking forward to that. And then after that, we're doing another character theme episode. We did a character theme episode many years ago. So this is unofficially, we're calling it Character Themes 2. A very original title. So yeah, that's what's coming next month of Rhythm Encounter. So I hope you're looking forward to those. So if you have any thoughts on this episode, if you have ideas in general, we've been getting some nice feedback lately from some of our listeners, which I love. Please keep it coming. You can email us at music@rpgfan.com. If you want to reach out to me for anything besides music or besides the show, you can reach me at mike@rpgfan.com. That's the best way to find me. So for the rest of you, what's the best way for people to reach you, Audra?
Audra B at rpgfan.com.
All right. And Gio?
You can find me on Discord. I am Gio on Discord, the server, RPG Fan server. This is GIO. And I'm also... you can email me at gio@rpgfan.com.
All right. And how about you, Tin?
You can also reach me similar to Gio on the RPG Fan Discord, and also a 3-letter word, Tin. So yeah.
Also, if you want an RPG Fan email, I can get you that too. Then we can just share the same kind of information.
I should probably.
Yeah. Maybe next time you're on, you'll be able to give one of those
Yeah.
out. All right. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to check out RPG Fan's other podcasts. We have 2 other ones. We have Random Encounter, which posts every other Monday, alternate of Rhythm Encounter. And I cannot tell you, as of this recording, what's coming up on Random Encounter, because it's about current game news, features on the site, reviews, other stuff like that. So it's always a good show. It's always, recent and relevant and topical. So I'm sure it will be good, whatever is coming up after this one. So be sure to check that out. Every week on Thursdays, we also have Retro Encounter, which is probably it is our most well-known podcast. So that comes up every week. Usually Mike Solosi hosts that. If you enjoyed this show, please review us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, subscribe to us. We appreciate that support. Reviews and ratings, help us a lot to, get the word out and grow the show. So we would appreciate that. And that's all. Our last thing today is we always close out with a bonus track. A lot of times that's someone new to the show. And since, Tin, this was only your second appearance, we thought it should be you today. So what is our bonus track today that we're closing out with?
Bonus track I brought is called Spring Theme from Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town.
Double farming on this one, huh?
Yeah.
I like
it's how much farm sim games I've played.
No, that's good. I think it's a perfect way to end. So, all right. We're going to close out with Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town Spring Theme. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we will see you next time. It's actually kind of funny. I understand it's not literal like edible jam, but you can't actually make jam out of horseradish in that game. So, although I'm not sure I would want that.
And I looked up what horseradish jam was, and it's real. And it looks.
Is it edible?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to go with meat, with like beef and pork and even.
Yeah, I didn't know they called it jam though. Like I've had horseradish, like sauce or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is Arby's has that horsey sauce.
Yes, which is like which I think is horseradish adjacent. Like I think it's like maybe like a more mild horseradish because horseradish is like a really strong flavor. It depends on what you're eating. Like it is a thing like with steaks and stuff, depending on where you go. But I don't eat steaks, so like it's never something that really crosses my lips. But I've had it here and there. It's fine. It's just it's a very strong flavor. So it's one of those things I feel like you really have to like.
It's an acquired taste.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I see.